Hi everyone, it's Dr. Sarah Wrigley McDonald here. I'm going to be your instructor for anatomy and physiology this term. You can call me Sarah, and I wanted to give you a really quick overview of how to use Brightspace. I know you've already gotten one, but I like to give you my own little version. So you probably have already done this, but just in case, I'm at the NBCC homepage. I'm going to click Brightspace up in the corner, and I'm going to log in. Now it automatically logged me in because it's already logged me in. But once you log in, you're going to see your different courses. So I'm going to give you a tour of A&P. And so when you come in, you'll see there's no announcement yet. There will be. So I'm going to click on Content, and it'll take me here. So from here, it'll give you some details on your textbook. It'll give you some information on your midterm short answer questions. And you'll see there's YouTube videos for each organ system. And so these will essentially be your recorded lectures. So because the format of this course is quite different this term, these YouTube videos will be a really great resource for you. So from there, we have projects. And so we're going to look at our project outlines and different things there. It's not a big, scary project, so don't worry. It's really just designed to get you a little bit more information about one project in particular. And I have examples of the kind of work that I'd like to see. As far as studying goes, there's a whole bunch of blank images here. So when it comes to labeling different structures, you have these to print off or use on your phone or whatever to label. So what you're not seeing is some of the other content from the course. So I'm going to switch from my student view back to my instructor view. So I don't want to overwhelm you with stuff, so I'm just going to show you that first module folder. And so in here, you're seeing a link to Dr. Sarah's Top Study Tips. So this is a video that I use for my NBCC courses and my UNB courses. So I do teach a number of courses for UNB in Fredericton as well, and I teach them all online. So module 1, here's your study guide. So it's a checklist basically of all the different structures that you have to know for your first module. Here's your lectures, so your PowerPoints in PDF, and then the first and second parts. And then there's week 2, week 3, and beyond. And so the structure of this will change a little bit because generally I have 10 weeks to teach A&P, and because we've moved to a different model, I now have 7. So you'll see some of these files shift around, but this is basically where you're going to find what you need. So that's the Content tab. I'm going to move to Grades, but I'm going to switch back to Student. So when you click your grades, you'll see that right now you obviously don't have any grades, but you'll also see that the first one is dropped. So of your 6 quizzes, your lowest mark is going to be dropped. So right now, you haven't completed any. So the first lowest mark, given that they're all 0, is your first quiz. So it's showing that the first quiz is dropped. Once you complete your first quiz, it'll show you that the second quiz is dropped, and on and on and on until you finish all 6 quizzes. Once you do that, your lowest actual mark will be dropped. So you also have 2 tests, right? So 2 midterms, and then you'll have your final exam, your project, etc. So of your 2 midterms, your highest mark is going to count for a higher weight of your final grade. So one midterm will be worth 15%, the other midterm will be worth 20. And so this is where that extra 5% comes in. So there's lots of other little things. I don't want to get you bogged down in that. So that's your grades tab. Under assessments, the very first one is assignments. So this is where you can send me a file. So we do have an A&P project. So I'm going to use A&P a lot. It just stands for anatomy and physiology. So you would upload your drafts here and your final projects here. And I'm going to spend lots of time explaining all of the different parts of that. And I have examples of exactly what I'm looking for. So back to that assessments tab, we'll go to quizzes. So already you see that there's a couple of quizzes here. So there will be others added, as now this is fully online. So the quizzes that I used to do on paper, I have to move online. So I just haven't finished all of that yet. But I also want to point out here that there's a practice quiz. And so this is designed just to give you one, just to get the feel of an online quiz. Because I know that most of you, if not all of you, have never done a quiz online before, and it's a new thing, and it can cause a little bit of anxiety, right? Anything new is always a little bit scary. So this practice quiz, you can do it as many times as you want. Again, is really just designed to let you play around and get the feel for doing a quiz before you start a quiz that has a time limit attached to it. Back up to assessments. So there's other features here that I don't use, but some of your other instructors might. So just be aware that under that assignment tab, you do have these additional options. So we're going to go to communication. Here, you're going to see your calendar, and I'll have different deadlines pop up associated with your quiz, your projects, your midterms, etc. There's discussion, groups, news, and our virtual classroom. Now, the virtual classroom is where we're going to be meeting. So you would click here, and when it loads, it'll pop up. So I'm going to pop over to instructor view again. There we go. So what you're going to see is that we're going to meet tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., not p.m. I will hopefully be asleep or close to asleep. So in these meetings, we will invite the entire class. We are going to publish it. So this means that when I meet with you as a group, it isn't a private meeting, and they are going to be recorded. And so if you want to have a private conversation, we can do that by phone. We can do that in the virtual classroom. It just obviously wouldn't be recorded or shared. So I'm going to save this, and I'm going to pop back over to the student. And now in the virtual classroom, you'll see that you have a meeting coming up. So in order to launch this, you come way over here to the right, you would click on the three dots, and you can click launch at the top. And so then it'll load up. Keep in mind that you're going to want to try and do that 5 or 10 minutes before the actual meeting, if it's the first time that you've gone in there, just simply because sometimes there's little glitches with your computer. So as we're launching this first one on Wednesday, I'll also be watching that Facebook Messenger group that you guys have running and my email to see if anyone's having issues. So under communications, again, at the bottom is our virtual classroom. We also have discussions. So discussion board is where you would ask a question that you think another student may be able to help you. And so you can do that on the Facebook Messenger group too, but with 30 of you in the class, that Messenger board is going to become very busy very quickly. So I would recommend that you use this instead of Facebook, just because then I'm also going to see it and I can also correct something if the answer is incorrect. I don't use Facebook Messenger for work. And so generally, if you're asking me questions on there, I'm not going to answer because I'm not going to see it. So email or the discussion board are the best two ways to get a hold of me, but email is always preferred. So back to communications. So again, in your calendar, I'll have deadlines for stuff. We saw the discussion board. For groups, I'm not really going to use the group feature, but I know some of the other instructors may. And then for news, there will be different news items pop up through the term, and you'll see them there. You'll also see them on that main page. For resources, I know some of the instructors use the ePortfolio. There's class progress. There's lots of other things here as well. But I also want to show you the help tab. So if you're having computer trouble, this is where you go, right? IT services for students. So you can pop right in here. So there's computer diagnostics. If you're experiencing a computer problem, click right there, right? So this will help you check your computer, see what's going on, and go from there. So the thing is, with us instructors, we know how to use our computers, we know how to use the software. But if you're having a technical issue, it's really hard for us to guide you because we can't see your computer. So that's the hard part. So going back up here. So again, system check. Excuse me. So with a system check, it's going to basically analyze your computer, right? So it checked to make sure everything, it has Java, it has cookies, it does the browser, right? All of these basic things are compatible with the software. Then there's video tutorials and of course, frequently asked questions. Lastly, we see Tutor Me. And so with the Tutor Me, this gives you access to a certain amount of hours of one-on-one tutoring. So please don't use this as your first option. You should always reach out to your instructors first because the Tutor Me hours are great, but why not save them for, if you're really stuck on something and we've already met, we've already worked on it, but you need that extra little bit of help, then the Tutor Me hours would be a great resource for you too. And so guys, that's really it. So I'll see you tomorrow in class at 10 a.m. in the virtual classroom, and we'll get that set up. We'll get us running. And I hope this was helpful. If you're still wondering about stuff, there's all those great resources there. But in class tomorrow, I'll go over a lot of stuff. Please also be patient with yourselves. This is a whole new world and there's lots of confusing things. So be patient with yourself, be patient with each other, and be patient with us instructors too. And that's it. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you tomorrow.